Hi there, and thank you for joining me for today's live reading of The Marriage Agreement by Akinosho, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Luke. Today is an extraordinary day for me, peaceful and unburdened by the usual chaos of my job. I take a moment to bask in the stillness. It had been a deliberate decision to relocate my office closer to my dad's, and I revel in the less stressful environment it provides. The walls are adorned with framed photographs showcasing my father's grand architectural creations, each one a testament to our name and success. The only picture on my desk is a snapshot of my family, taken years ago at my college graduation. My mother, father, stepfather, and brother stand together with beaming smiles, captured in a moment of pure joy and love. As I close my eyes, a sense of peace washes over me. I barely take a minute before my phone rings with my mom's ringtone. I sigh. I love my mom, but she's the queen of hovering. Out goes my quiet moment. I answer the call. Hello, Mom, I say, resting my head back on the chair. Luke, I need you to please talk to him. I'm afraid he's going to get into trouble. Mom's voice is shaky, her words jumbled and panicked. I don't want him doing anything crazy that involves the government. What he plans to do is fraud, she says, hysterical. I don't need to ask who him is. Only my knucklehead brother, Osei, would make Mom this hysterical. I love him very much, but he sure knows how to get Mom's heart rate pumping fast, which always creates a headache for me. He's insisting on getting married right away, she sobs, her voice cracking with emotion. I try to remain calm as I respond. I thought you wanted us to get married. I hold back my sigh. I was enjoying my quiet moment. I do, if it's for love, she says. It's not? What other reason would Osei have for marrying? No, he's marrying to make his friend a U.S. citizen. Fuck. My head snaps forward as a wave of frustration washes over me, realizing who my brother intends to marry. The woman I've secretly desired for months now, though I've hidden my emotions behind a stoic facade. Mom, I'll talk to him, I assure her. Please, Luke, I know he listens to you. I don't want him to go through with this. Okay, Mom, I've got to go. I'll call you later, I interject before she can spiral further. It's like a switch flipped inside her, from emotional outburst to normal family curiosity. All right, honey, how's Simon? Dad is good, I answer, adding a mental period. Their relationship is complicated, and I can't get involved. My mom is happily married to my Ghanaian stepdad, who's the father of my knucklehead brother, Osei. My dad is living his lonely life, now sick and trying to correct all the wrongs he's done as a ruthless businessman. All right, honey, please update me on your brother. He needs to drop this idea. Bye, Mom, I say, hanging up and exhaling a frustrated sigh. My emotions are running wild with the information my mom just shared. I can't let Osei's plan to marry her come to fruition. That's the life I want, with her in my arms. It's not his to have. Like a got ya moment, my dad's words invade my mind. The worst thing that can happen to you is watching the woman you love pregnant with another man's child. It echoes loudly in my mind. I can't say I'm in love with her, but I want her. And I have an intense yearning for her, a goddamn itch I can't scratch because she's my brother's girl. I get off my chair and make a slow pace to the window. My feet can barely hold the added weight I feel in my being. My heart is racing like I've just finished a sprint. Hands in my pockets, I close my eyes and rock on my heels. I let the cool air chill the burn in me, trying to control the fiery jealousy flowing through my veins. I let out a weighted sigh. I rest my heels, open my eyes to view the blue, bright sky with the sun peeping through. The decision is as clear as the sky. I'm going to marry her. She'll be my wife, even if I have to cheat and steal her from my brother. With a clear decision made in my mind, I now need to craft a meticulous plan to persuade my stubborn brother. With anticipation, I called Osei, only to reach his voicemail. Undeterred, I leave him a message and soon receive a text from him. Osei, Mom called you, right? One thing is certain, our mom is as predictable as the sun rising in the east. I don't respond to his text, knowing he'll call soon enough, and then I'll have no choice but to answer. Another certainty about Mom and my stepdad is the fact that they've droned into us an unwavering constant. We are brothers first. Whenever either one calls, we answer first and ask questions later. Are Osei's calls annoying and ridiculous sometimes? Yes, but I answer because he's my baby brother. His arrival into the world brought me both love and responsibility, driving me crazy in the same breath. Despite the flawed and unfriendly side of me that I present to the world, only with Osei and my four other brothers can I be myself. The only time I was uncontrolled and acted out of character was the night I met her. Ayodele. Chapter 2. Luke. 6 months ago. A few months ago, during one of Osei's crazy calls, he insisted that I show up to his Halloween party. I pushed back, but he used the family code of you call, your brother answers. I grunted in frustration and begrudgingly agreed to go. Besides, I didn't want him to get in trouble should things go awry at his Halloween party, which, with my brother, was a good 90% chance. Mom would not be okay with it, and that's never a good thing. I have seen firsthand what a not okay status for mom looks like, and I have no desire to ever see that again. So off I went to the party with Declan and Bruce, my brothers in everything but blood, laughing at my poor costume of choice of just a Venetian mask. They mocked me, saying, "Going as grumpy self with a mask?" I didn't want any of Osei's female friends to recognize me. The moment they realize I'm the Luke Blythe of the real estate empire, everything about them changes. That always gets an eye roll from Osei, which is why he sometimes doesn't want me around. I arrived to find everyone dressed in Halloween costumes, already half drunk, laughing in the poorly lit, Halloween decorated living room. Loud music blared. I found my brother dancing and laughing in his police costume, complete with an ugly mustache and fake glasses. Looking around, I was glad I was there, making sure things didn't spiral. His unit was packed. He was close to breaking the building code. Another reason I had to stay. My brother's friendliness is great, but a few people know he's my younger brother, which makes him a target for some women who want to get close to me and some guys who want favors. Over the years, Osei has learned to weed them out, but his good nature still attracts some people with hidden agendas. I, on the other hand, can count my friends on one hand. He's a one woman at a time kind of guy, and I'm the more the merrier type with a few repeats in between. Hence the ring that felt heavy in my pocket. I had the jeweler pick one that would suffice and deliver it to me. No need for emotional attachment. This was to be a pure business arrangement. Though I was still unsure if it was a wise decision to even think about taking such a step, yet it seemed like the acceptable decision with my gut turning and refusing to check on that decision. I watched as the guests' numbers grew. I found a spot away from the noise, but kept a close eye on Osei. Soon, I noticed a woman walk in, and Osei was all excited, hugging her tightly. She was wearing a half-lace Venetian mask, hospital scrubs, and Crocs. Like me, the Venetian mask seemed to be the only effort she had put into her Halloween costume. My brother kissed her cheeks, holding her hand and smiling widely at her. They seemed pleased to see each other. Whatever he whispered to her brought a smile to her face, but her smile also captivated me. That smile should be for me only. Someone soon called Osei's attention, and he let go of her hand. I moved closer as she surveyed her surroundings. Finally, she looked my way, and our eyes locked. We held each other's gaze, even as the party around us continued, but for us, time stopped. We alone existed in that moment. I had heard about the look felt across the room, but not once had it happened to me until that evening. I was captivated, my heart pounding. Our gaze was abruptly interrupted when a drunk clown bumped into her, jolting her. I looked away but longed to look back at her. I didn't understand what had happened, but I wanted to explore it. I looked back and noticed she was now in the kitchen, filling her plate, then leaning into a corner to eat. She was attentive, watching the party, seeming content in her corner, just as I seemed content watching her, curious about who she was and, more importantly, who she was to Osei. I moved closer and grabbed some food. She didn't notice me, but I found myself drawn to her. My body reacted in a way I had never experienced, a burning desire for her. I moved away immediately to avoid whatever magnetic force was drawing me to her and returned to my corner to continue my watch. I've never dabbled in emotions and I've always kept them at bay, especially for a serial dater like me, but I was genuinely feeling emotions for her, though I didn't even know her name. Osei went to check on her and she smiled at him. He held her hand and whispered in her ear, making her laugh. Even with the mask, I could tell it was a cheerful laugh. Osei left, and I watched her head out to the balcony. Without my mental permission, my legs followed her direction. It was a bit chilly in Chicago, not cold, but rare for October, almost November. She spread her arms out and lifted her head to the dark skies to take in the air. I watched as she breathed it all in. She must have felt my presence and turned to look at me, hands down, a slight smile curving her lips. Hi. Her soft voice was a subtle calm to my stormy mind. Hi, I responded to her with a fucking wide grin slapped across my half-covered face. I needed some air. It's stuffy in there. Plus, I've been inside all day. Yeah, me too. I need fresh air as well. Too stuffy in there. Fucking liar. Good, she said, looking up again to inhale and exhale the air. I watched subtly, finding myself more drawn to her. She sat on one chair. I sat too. We sat in palpable silence, watching the city, the cool air cocooning us. The music boomed behind us, but my body was attuned to her presence. I could sit with her forever. Where the fuck did that thought come from? You know it's true. That's fucked up. I didn't need any forever shit. What I needed right now was the perfect arrangement that I planned to make with the ring in my pocket. In that case, go back inside. Fuck that. I'm staying. The view is better on the other side. I found myself saying impulsively to her, which was never me. Osei is impulsive, and I'm controlled, but something about her made me lose my usual self-control. There's a better view than this? She asked, looking my way, her voice a mixture of curiosity and shared information. I couldn't see her eyes behind the mask in the dim light, but her voice was one my brain had now etched into my central system. Yes, I can take you there if you want, I answered, noticing her quick hesitation. That's okay. This is fine. She said, turning her attention back to the view. That's just buildings with lights and nothing interesting. I assure you, it's better, and we won't leave the unit. I just know where to look. I noticed she wanted to say no, but then her body relaxed. Somehow, I noticed her resting heart rate was calm, a stark contrast to my own racing heart as I sat next to her, a strange juxtaposition. I needed to nip whatever this was. It's definitely messing with my well-crafted sense of control. Okay, as long as we're not getting into Osei's things. Did I detect a warning in there? He'll be fine, I said, chuckling. I rose, and I swear something inside me flipped when she rose too. I led us back into the unit and bypassed more party groups with bodies in costumes gyrating to the music. I headed toward the second bedroom, which was a small office. A bee and honey jar were making out on the sofa in the office. I opened the bedroom door, and she hesitated. I just want to show you the view. Nothing else, I said. She nodded, and the bee and honey jar making out on the love seat didn't look our way. I opened the door and left it open, dashing toward the sliding door that led to the balcony. Opening it, I pulled back the curtain and turned to see that she was still at the door. I widened the door so she could see the view of Navy Pier and the moonlight kissing Lake Michigan. She slowly ventured into the room, leaving the door wide open. We stepped onto the balcony. It's more beautiful, isn't it? I watched her smile. I liked seeing her smile. She inhaled the air again, wrapped her arms around herself, and stared at the open view. I watched her, trying not to ogle her. The half of her face I could see, mostly her full lips, had me intrigued and wanting to see what she looked like. Thank you for showing me this, she said. I nodded. She dug into her pocket to get a scrunchie and pulled her braids into a ponytail. As she moved, it revealed a scar on her arm. Without thinking, I grabbed her arm. Unexpected fury built up in me at the thought of someone hurting her. Who did this to you? My voice was harsher than I intended. She jerked her arm out of mine. I'm a nurse. A patient pushed me. I fell and got a cut. An unfortunate case of occupational hazard, she snapped. I was right about her costume effort being just the mask. Does it still hurt? I asked in a calm, controlled voice. I wasn't sure why the thought of anyone hurting her upset me that much. Yes, a bit, but not as bad as when it happened. I nodded, accepting her explanation. Should I find the guy and punch him for you? I said to lighten the mood. She laughed, and the sound of her subtle laughter pleased me. I'm sure you'll be charged with assaulting a minor. My patient was a 14-year-old mini giant boy. He was profoundly sorry. A mini giant, I chuckled. I couldn't have envisioned her patient as an underage boy. I had some crazy older man visualized in my head. Yeah, I called him a giant baby because he's 6 foot 4 inches tall, also bulky, which he doesn't like. Well, I hope he stays sorry. I'm sure he will. He's a sweet boy when he's not having an episode. I moved closer to her, and her aura engulfed me with a deep urge to kiss her. Despite my attempt to retreat, the persistent urge consumed me. Like a ferocious beast, it demanded to be satisfied. I took a step away from her, fighting within me not to do what my whole being was yearning for. In the silent yet loud moment, a gentle breeze blew our way, contrasting the fiery warmth of my desire for her. My heart was pulsating with every beat. Succumbing to my inner beast, unable to resist the urge any longer, I swiftly pulled her into my arms, capturing her mouth in a kiss that released the full force of my burning desire. Instead of a slap for my unusual behavior, our tongues danced in perfect synchrony, a passionate exchange that ignited more desire in me. As I guided her to the sliding door, her back against it, the taste of her fueled the fire within me as our bodies melded together in a passionate embrace. She moaned softly, sending waves of pleasure through me. The softness of her lips and taste of her had me enthralled. My phone rang. It was my mom's ringtone, disrupting our moments of intense desire. She pushed against my chest, breaking our kiss with a startled look in her eyes. Did she know the effect she had on me? My phone stopped ringing. I gazed at her as I gently lifted her mask to reveal her face. Her features were even more stunning without the mask. I focused, committing her details to memory. The light made her brown eyes appear lighter, but it didn't diminish the fact that they captivated me. Her lips, full and inviting, beckoned for another kiss. Taking in every detail, I was mesmerized by her natural beauty. I was certain she couldn't see my eyes. My mask was on, and with my back to the light and my height, I was blocking more of it. Her small nose sat in perfect harmony with her full cheekbones and those lips. She was a beauty to behold. I wanted to know everything about her. Before I could utter a word, my phone rang again. I reached for it to answer the call. The moment I did, she quickly put the mask back on, shoved me away, and fled.